All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Forge Your Life podcast. Here today with your host, Richard Fu from richardfu.com and the Ultimate Man. And today, guys, I have a real man on board, a centered man, right? He is the founder of the Centered Man Project. He dedicates himself to finding and living beauty, breathing love, and making the world a better place. This guy, when I found out and got introduced to this guy, he just opens my mind up, and I'm pumped to have him here all the way from Warsaw, Poland, right? Guys, so welcome Patrick Ananda onto the show. Hey, brother, good to have you on, man.
Wow, quite the introduction. I'm humbled. Thanks for having me, Richard. I appreciate
it. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. This is the most I can do for everyone that comes on the show, Patrick. And so, Patrick, man, for the people who don't know who you are, man, could you share a bit more about yourself and what you do at the Centered Man Project?
Yeah, my name is Patrick Ananda, and Ananda is the Sanskrit word for bliss. And usually when you take on the spiritual life, you have to take on some Sanskrit name, and I figured this was the best explanation of me, because I'm always this smiling, bumbling idiot moving about life. And so really what I teach is about, I help men transform, and I teach confidence, but profoundly rooted confidence. And so it's understanding yourself, understanding your place in the world, and having the courage to fearlessly express who you are, express your desires, and chase after your own goals and your own dreams. So it's a life of your own design. And that includes with women, that includes with your business, with your health, and so on. But my philosophy is very simple. It's just about love. It's about loving others and loving yourself and appreciating the life that you live, and just watching as amazing things just keep on happening for some odd reason, and it's directly related to how you feel inside. So that's what I do. I help men come to terms with that and understand that it starts here and comes outward after.
Wow, amazing, man. And so talk us through this. Like, honestly, Patrick, man, like when we hear the words, centered man, right, we all get a picture and an idea of it, but I want to get a definition from you, right? What's a centered man to you, brother? Okay,
so I always say this is my example. You know you're centered when your sense of self-worth, your sense of happiness, and your sense of peace depend on nothing external but yourself. So the example that I give is this. I use women as an example a lot because personally, for a man, women are a microcosm of the world, right? If a woman tells you go fuck yourself at the bar, am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, of course, man. You already did.
So if you're at a bar and a girl says go fuck yourself, and you're going home going, oh my God, like reevaluating everything about yourself, and you feel completely destroyed. Well, how are you going to chase your dreams and your passions? How are you going to take the fact that someone else got the promotion over you without crumbling in on yourself? How are you going to chase your, how are you going to build your life? How are you going to make the world a better place? How are you going to teach your children to step up to the plate when you can't even handle that quote unquote rejection from a woman who doesn't know you? So I use that as an example a lot. Women are a microcosm of the world. The way you respond to women is the way that you're going to respond to the world around you. So imagine this. You're at a bar or a club or whatever, some public setting, right? And we're going to make it the most pressurized environment on the planet. We're going to literally make your worst nightmare come true. So there's this gorgeous, gorgeous girl who is your dream girl. And there's no way for you to know this, but just for the sake of argument, she has all the values you're looking for in a woman. She will love you unconditionally. She's just this total package: intelligent, beautiful, sexy, smart. And she's there, right? But she's surrounded by rich, good-looking, tall, male model-looking type guys, and there's a great chasm separating you two. So if you can't kind of sneak your way in there. If you go and talk to her, everyone will be watching you, right? And you decide, okay, I'm going to go for it. And as you walk, you do the most embarrassing thing ever. You slip and you fall and you spill your drink on the floor, and everyone's laughing, and the guys that she's with just whispering in her ear like, this guy's a fucking loser. And you get there, right? And you're just like, you dust yourself off and you get to her. And when you show up, you're about to open your mouth, and before you can even utter a single word, she looks at you, pours her drink on your head, and then gives you a look like, what are you going to do now? So the challenge is, can you still look her deep in the eye and say, you look stunningly beautiful, and I came up here to speak to you, with this same joie de vivre, with this same peace of mind and centered strength, as if you didn't fall and embarrass you, like this complete surrender to what is. And that's the fact of life, is that life is going to do this to you. You are going to get sick. You are going to lose your job at some point. You are going to be, struggling. Your girlfriend's going to leave you. You are going to get your heart broken. All this stuff is going to happen. But what defines you as a man, what makes you centered is, are you able to respond to life? Not react, but respond to life with the same open, loving awe and reverence as a child. And that is being centered.
Oh, bro, man, when you're talking me through that like picture there, I was like, holy crap, what would I do, right? And I love it. I love that message, man. It is all about responding compared to reacting. And we've talked about that before on the show. And what I want to touch in here with you, Patrick, man, which sparked in my head was, it's all about learning how to respond. And it's kind of like this phrase I use, right, with my clients. It's like, you have to have like you have to be as strong as an oak tree, but yet you have to be as flexible as bamboo, right? Which is what you're saying centered man really is, right?
Yeah. Well, your analogy is great. It's as flexible as bamboo, as strong as an oak tree. I like that. Can I steal that? But if you look, see, like my degree is in religion, which is, so if you'll notice in my blog posts and in a lot of my talks, I reference religion. I use a lot of Zen analogies, a lot of Christian analogies, a lot of Hindu and Taoist analogies. But the divine masculine in religions, traditionally speaking, is exactly what you talked about, and it is centered. Right? You can call it enlightenment, being centered, or whatever, but it's that. So if you look at, my favorite example is Shiva in Hinduism, and it's different for the feminine, by the way. It's why I call it the Centered Man Project. I have coached women in the past, but it's an entirely different process. The outcome is the same, but the process is different. So we'll focus on the divine masculine. In Hinduism, Shiva he's the representation of the divine masculine, and you see him. You all see that statue, right, where there's the circle of flames around him?
Yep.
I'm sure if you walk by, you'll see it. You know what I'm talking about. But if you look carefully, he's on top of the head. There's severed heads at his feet, and that symbolizes the head of evil.
Yep.
If you notice, his legs are crossed, his arms are in the air. He's dancing. He's dancing on the head of evil, and that is the perfect symbolism of the divine masculine. Whereas people think it's this rigid, like aggressive. That is not masculinity. There is that element to it. That's the dark masculine. We can talk about that if you like. But there is an element of, I wouldn't even say aggression, but it's channeled strength, right? When you're pursuing a worthwhile goal, you're channeling that aggression. Instead of abusing other people, you're challenging yourself. You're pushing yourself, right? So there is that element. But the key component is loving. He's dancing on the head of evil. In other words, your strength comes from your ability to remain strong, unwavering, and unshakable. And the easiest way to remain that way is fully loving, and loving is flexible. So like you said, you are the oak tree, but you're as flexible as bamboo, and it's the power of your love for yourself, for the world, and for the people around you that will ensure that you will not break, because rigidity, breakable. And you get so tight to it, you break. But how you bend, and that's what love.
Oh, man. That's amazing, dude. And so tell me this then, Patrick, man, because obviously I'm guessing you didn't start off like this, man. Tell us your story, man. Tell us how you went from, the broken man, I'm guessing that you were, to who you are today, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful towards my parents, first of all, because when we were, first of all, as a rite of passage, since we were kids, we were never the kind of family who would go about, I want this toy, can I have it? Mom we'll run to the store and buy it for us. It was more like, here's, for Christmas, like, here are the essentials, even though we can afford it. My mom is a dentist, my father's a lawyer, so we can afford it, but we lived very simply. And everything else was going to Armenia. I'm of Armenian heritage. And so we would donate tons and tons of stuff to Armenia. And as a rite of passage, my brother, my sister, and I all had to go to Armenia for a summer and work in a village and do humanitarian work. And that was, the way the universe works is fascinating because it coincided with like a period of self-discovery in my life. So I really accredit a lot of it to that time period. But I was at a place where I was getting kicked out of school. I was getting kicked out of my house. If I get kicked out of school, I get kicked out of my house. I was losing a lot of my friends. Women were not interested in me. By that point, I was about 2 years into the seduction industry. They call it the seduction community. It's not. It's an industry. It's a money-making machine. And I went down this wrong path ultimately. And I got to the point where I realized, okay, I'm unhappy. I'm fat. My friends don't like me. The women don't like me. My family doesn't like me anymore. I'm getting kicked out of school. Like, this is not working. I need to change. And so I went to Armenia and I did that humanitarian mission, and it just kind of grounded me a lot, and I witnessed real suffering. And I think that's important for everybody. To build compassion, you need to witness real suffering, right? Not like, oh my God, I lost my cell phone, I'm gonna die. Like, no. I mean real suffering. And then coming home and seeing this kind of crap, right? This obsession with materialism, which there's nothing wrong, by the way. If you want a nice house, great. You want a nice car, great, that's fine. But I began to understand that I wanted those things without having to draw my sense of self from those things. I did not need those things to make myself feel good.
Yeah.
And then by some accident, my cousin left a copy of, he left me this book, the Bhagavad Gita.
Right.
And it changed my life. It completely changed my life. So I read it, and the Bhagavad Gita is a 3,000-year-old Hindu poem. And it's a conversation between God and a prince, and the prince is just on the eve of battle, and he doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to do anything, just throws everything on the floor. He's like, I can't do this. And then God reveals himself to him and tells him, explains the meaning of life and the meaning of purpose and all that. And it just changed it just smacked me right in the face. I was like, wow, and they introduced the concept of karma yoga, which is the concept of action without attachment to rewards. Do things for their own sake. Go and give love to other people, make them feel special without thinking, what can they do for me in return? Go and go and accomplish something without seeking rewards. Let the rewards come on their own, which became the foundation of my message, which is why I do the work that I do. And if you read my blog posts or watch my videos, it's very personal. I'm not interested in accumulating guru status and that kind of crap and having like a following of worshipers. I don't want that. I just want, if you can come and see me and go, yo, Pat, like you really helped me, thank you, and just go, great, that's all I need. So that shaped my message, and I know I've been rambling on, but this is a very important part that I want to spread. I want everybody to know this, is because even after I had this transformative period, I had another crossroads in my life a year ago, and I had a very, very deep depression, and it was the worst that I had ever suffered. It was 2 months long, and it was the scariest moment in my entire life. And it was worse because at that point I was like coaching clients, and I had all these people relying on me, and I'm like, God, and it made it worse. And then everything just snapped into place, and I figured it out, so to speak. And when I came out after this, I wrote on my private forums to all the people to coaching with me. I said, guys, this is my story. This is what happened to me, and I want you to see that. I want you to know I'm human. I want you to know, because I don't want it. I don't want the guru-ness. I don't want you to see me as infallible. I make mistakes. I get rejected by women. I get blown out by women. I have business deals that fail. I cheat on my diet sometimes. It happens. It's okay. It's okay. So yeah, I mean, really being centered, at the end of the day, is this just, it's a complete detachment. It's accepting who you are, accepting what is, and working towards a worthy goal without expecting anything in return, without needing it to be the person that you are, or the person that you want to be. And I think that's one of the most important things.
Oh, and Patrick, man, amazing story, man. I want to extract a few things here, because you dropped in so many like little nuggets over there. Right? like the first thing I want to talk about here, man, was like you talk about the suffering, right, that you have to go through. And it seems like you didn't have to go through suffering once. It's not like you walk through that fire once and you're done, right? You're built, right? And this is where I think you draw in on how, then you went back and you fell into this depression state for like, 2 months, right? And talk us through this, man. Talk us through, when you've gone through suffering once and then you think, I don't know, like, because I have a story here that I've just gone through a point where I feel like I accepted everything about myself, but then it feels like you have to go through suffering again. Like, you know what I mean, man? Where you went through that moment, question everything that you learned. Yeah. Tell me about that, man. Like, how are you going through and processing that moment when you're like, come on, man, what's wrong with you? You're a coach, man. You should be able to do this, but why do you feel like this? Why do I feel like this? So walk us through that, man. I'm intrigued about that.
Well, I mean, really I noticed that the biggest roadblock that not only my clients but myself have is that we tend to be afraid of success more than we're afraid of failure. Like it's like most people don't reach success. This is one thing that I always say, and people need to be made aware of this, Richard, especially we're in this industry, but the self-help industry, the self-development industry, the self-improvement industry, the pickup and seduction industry, they're all kind of intertwined. They have such a high dropout rate. There's like a 95, there's a lot of things, this is something a lot of coaches will now talk about. There's a 95% dropout rate. Most people who start buying these books and getting into it like that, they don't succeed, they give up. The reason is not because they cannot. The reason is most of the time because they cannot see themselves as deserving what they claim to want. So what happened to me was when I was, I moved away to another city, and I was like, oh yeah, I can make something of myself. And I just got slapped in the face. I was like, can I do this? And my instinct was to run home. I was like, what am I doing? I'm in a country. I know nobody. I have no friends here. I have what am I doing? And it was just this terrifying period because I had been meditating for probably 3 or 4 years at that point.
Yeah.
And so a part of me, a part of me was aware of what's going on. It was going logically, I was like, what am I doing? This is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But emotionally, I felt like a wreck. It was like someone was punching me in the stomach over and over and over. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. And it got really, really scary. And I'm not ashamed to say that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a great passage in the Imitations of Christ. And the problem is I haven't read that book in a long time. So don't quote me on this. But there's a passage where the monk who's writing this, this is a medieval Christian text, but the monk, I gotta find you the exact quote, but he's basically yelling at God saying, why are you giving me these flashes of your love and then taking it away from me? Like, what the fuck are you doing, right? And he's lamenting, right? And it reminded me of your question, which is, most people think okay, that's it. I've gone through this darkness, and now everything is going to be smooth sailing. And you look at these ancient seekers and how they were teased with enlightenment here and there, and they kept losing it. But that's great, and that's part of the process. And so really the moral of the story is what I was able to understand was that the reality of what I was doing was I was running away. At a very, very subtle level, but it was still there. I was doing all that I was doing because I wanted to have this, I wanted everything to go smoothly forever. That's not life. It's never going to happen. And so I always say this. I say, don't ever forget to be an actor in your movie, but don't forget to watch it. And the fact of the matter is, the movie would be boring if it's just this. It'd be boring if it's just this. It has to be this. It has to be unexpected, and you're going to get sick, and you're going to miss your flight, and you're going to forget your wallet in another country, like what happened to me last week, by the way. It's things are going to happen. But the way to live life magnificently is to be completely open, like you said, right? To be completely flexible, completely open and flowing, but at the same time, ready for any outcome, completely aware and fully focused and engaged in what you're doing. In the Tao Te Ching, it says, be alert as a warrior in enemy territory. And it connotes aggressiveness, but that's not what it's saying, because the warrior in enemy territory, is he off daydreaming? No, he's fully aware of what's going on around him. And that's the quickest way to peace. So, be an actor in your movie. You're not going to live an interesting life if you sit at home going, yeah, success is going to come to me. I love these law of attraction guys, right? They think beautiful girl's going to manifest in my bed, and success just you got to grind, man. You got to put in the hours, right? You're hustling. You got to work your ass off to get what you want. But things are going to go bad sometimes, and they're going to go good sometimes, and they're going to go bad again right after. But remember to watch the movie.
Yeah. Wow, dude. Man, Patrick, man, I want to pull something else out of here, man, because once again, you're just opening up layers and layers of amazingness here, man. Right? There's this part here, Patrick, that you pulled out was about the acceptance, right? The acceptance of who you really are. And there's something that just happened to me recently. I've just realized this, Patrick, right? Is that I've gone through a moment, and I want to check with you, brother, right?
Sorry, Rich, you got cut off. I lost you. Can you start again?
Yeah. So, man, like I was saying before, is that there's a part of you that you were mentioning something amazing. You were mentioning about accepting who you are at that point in time as well, right?
Yeah.
And I figured out something here, man. I went through a really huge, significant emotional event where basically, I was meant to get engaged. Actually, I was engaged. We got meant to get married, but then we canceled it, man. Right? We broke up, and a huge event happened. And what I realized in this one event, man, and I think this is something that I've just pulled out, and this is why we go through that, those huge up and downs that you were mentioning in our life, is that we're always on a journey of accepting ourselves. And I figured that we're like this, man. And let me run this through with you. I want to get your perspective of this. Is do you think we're like onions, right? We continue to grow out, and then you hit that layer, the first layer, and you're like, yes, I accept everything about myself. Woohoo, right? You walk around feeling good, and then you realize, holy crap, hang on a second, there's that part over there in my life that I haven't seen before. There's that part I didn't accept before. And then it's like you realize there's actually another layer, and then there's another layer and another layer, and more stuff you uncover as you go through this journey, man. How are you seeing that, and what are your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah. I fully agree with that, and that's one of the interesting things, is that it's a lot of the times the journey of self-development is not about adding more layers. It's not about trying to be like someone else and so on and so forth. It's actually about stripping away the crap that you've accumulated. And the Zen Buddhists have a very amazing saying. They say that the life will only give you life will give you the problems that you need in order to grow. So if you keep encountering the same problems over and over, it's because you didn't draw the lesson that you needed to draw from it in that moment. And that brings you a sense of peace. It allows you to, first of all, honor your suffering. And this is one thing a concept that I talk about a lot, is to honor your suffering. If you are suffering, it's a good thing, because it means that the only thing that can come after that is joy. And it means that if you are suffering, you're in a downer. It means that you had an upper, you had a high before. Yeah. And so honor that. It's beautiful. It's part of life. But I want to take it one step further, Richard, because once you peel away the crap, all of the layers of the onions, what's left? And this is the problem, right? Because my message boils down to just be yourself. And a lot of people, right away, instinctively, they hate, in the self-development community, that advice is the most hated piece of advice. Yeah. And they'll go, I've been myself and it doesn't work. And this is where you have to draw the distinction. And I will go ahead and say, no, you have not been yourself. Because you're at home playing World of Warcraft and eating chips and getting fat on the couch on a Friday and Saturday night, feeling sorry for yourself, watching 5 or 6 different porn videos over and over, crying yourself to sleep. And you're reading these forums, like, how do I improve myself? But you're not taking action. You're going, I've been myself. Myself isn't good enough. Bullshit. Because when you're sitting at home and right, you feel like crap about yourself, that's that voice inside telling you, I know I could be doing better. I know this isn't the way that I should be. This is why you hate yourself. It's because there's a discrepancy between who you think you should be and who you actually are. Yeah. Right? And this fat loser who's on the couch hating himself, that's not who you are. So you're saying, I've been myself for years, it hasn't worked. No, you haven't been yourself. Because being yourself is that voice inside telling you could be better. And I would take it one step further. The Zen have an amazing saying, which is, who are you when you're not thinking yourself into existence? And this is, I would say, a more advanced concept, right? Is that once you've gone through like the whole self-development thing, you're like, yeah, I'm good, I feel great, whatever. Well, this is what happened to me, is when I hit my depression, everything just came tumbling down. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I should be past this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. But you're not. And that's exactly the point, is because back in the day, I was clinging to my story of why I wasn't good enough. And then after that, I was clinging to my story of why I'm better now. But ultimately, it's all a fucking story. Mm-hmm. Who are you when you're not thinking yourself into existence and silence? Right? Can you live without defining yourself? And this indefinite you is who you are. You are the universe experiencing yourself. You are a fabric of existence itself. Why would you constrain yourself to a description? So I always tell people go like, for some odd reason, people are starting to recognize me now. I think now because my face is on YouTube and stuff. But people come up, wow, this is amazing, like your coach, right? And they'll see a girl, like, oh yeah, go charm that girl or something. What the fuck, right? And it's like, now there's all this pressure. Now I have to defend my image as a coach. And I always tell them, I'm not a coach, I'm not good with women, I'm not attractive, I'm not confident, I'm not happy, I'm none of these things. I'm not depressed, I'm not a loser, I'm not lonely. I am what I am. I'm business. I'm okay. And that's it. So yeah, I wanted to I agree with it. It's it's the onions is layers and layers and layers, but don't be afraid to peel back that final layer and cling to nothing. Just no attachment to any concept or any mental note or whatever. And this is when you'll coach, like I'll be coaching a client, I'll go, you see that beautiful woman over there, go and spin her. Just spin her for no reason. That's not me. What do you mean that's not me? Who is this you that you keep talking about? You don't know who this me is. That's why you came to see me. You don't know who this me is. So don't go around going, oh, that's not me. Go and do it and then tell me it's not you. Right?
I love it, man. And it's just go out, go do it, go try it, right? And go find out who is the me then, right? Love that, man.
Who's this me that I keep talking about? Exactly.
Oh, bro, man, thank you so much, brother, for taking us deep in there, man, and going into that, that rabbit hole, man, just to really pull out the real shit, right? And so,
Your watchers are like, oh, Derp can't do all this Zen shit. Like, no, give me methods. I can't watch this.
so, Patrick, man, we gotta start wrapping up, man, right? And now we're gonna go into the quick fire questions round, man, and I'm gonna start up with this one. This is our favorite one. This is what we call the time travel moment. Right? If you go back to any time in your life, man, 5, 10 years back, right? What time would you go back? And what one piece of advice that you know today that you would tell little Patrick back then, man?
I'd go back to when I was 16 years old and I would say resist nothing.
Oh.
I would change nothing. I would literally just tell myself to get ready for the bad times and the good times and resist nothing. Don't resist it. Just let it come. That would be it. I mean, we don't realize, like, I always, my current girlfriend, for example, the way we're together is just ridiculous. And it's, I was running late to an event. I left my house late and I was walking down the street and I saw her from the corner of my eye. I was walking with my friend. Mid-conversation, I broke off. I saw her. I was like, you look amazing. Who are you? We started talking. Her bus showed up at that moment. So she said, give me your number and I'll text you. And so I gave my number. It was a complete fake thing. It was like, it's up to the universe. And she texted me and we met up and we connected on such a deep level. And anyway, but the whole point of this is that had I not left my house at exactly that time, had I not chosen to go up that street, had she not texted me, and I'm like, every time, we don't realize that every tiny piece of the puzzle is necessary to get you to where you are now. So people would say, like, yeah, I would go back and change this thing that I regret or whatever. Well, if I hadn't gone through my depression last summer, my message wouldn't have been more deeper, more real, more raw, and I wouldn't have been so committed. So no, I would change absolutely nothing. The only thing I would say is stop causing yourself suffering by resisting. Just resist nothing. Let it come.
Oh man, that's awesome, brother, man. Love that, bro. And now on to the next one, man. I'm sure you've read a lot of books, Patrick. You even mentioned some of the books. You even showed us one of the books that's made a huge impact in your life.
Yeah.
There was an absolute one that must be read, right? That the people watching and listening here need to read. What would that be, man?
The Bhagavad Gita, and I recommend the Eknath Eswaran translation. It's $10, so it's like €7. It's so cheap, and it's written in plain English. It's not a Hare Krishna Society translation, those big bricks that have a religious leaning. He's a university professor, and it's translated in plain English, very good explanations, and it's the best book. People ask me, like, what's the best book you ever read to help you with women? This book. What's the best book you ever read to help you with business? This book. What's the best book you've ever read to help you with spirituality? Guys, I can't stress it enough. I've read it over 40 some odd times, and I'm always rereading it. And every time I read it again, it's just like, oh, wow. It's just an amazing book, and it's highly recommended.
Oh, awesome, man. We'll add that into the show notes below, man. Yeah. And there's this other question here, man. Just a few more left here, brother. Yeah. This is one is for the men, right? So, being a centered man that you are, right? In the modern man's world, right? What's really missing in today's world, man? What do more men need to be doing, to be living, right? In that
authenticity.
What was that?
Authenticity. We're lacking authenticity, and that's because we lack self-acceptance, and we lack self-acceptance because we live in self-avoidance. When we're in pain and we're suffering, we go, no, I shouldn't be suffering. I'm going to distract myself by watching porn or watching a game or so on and so forth. Instead of sitting in that pain and honoring that pain and healing that pain. And when that happens, well, you get self-acceptance and you go, oh, wow, maybe I don't have to be afraid of what other people think of me. And then you see a beautiful woman and you go, she's beautiful, and that's okay. I'm going to go tell her, I find you beautiful. That's my truth. You can take it or leave it. That's okay. But I'm here. I came to speak to you, not because I want to know, where you bought that shirt, or not because what time it is, or where's the nearest Starbucks, or who lies more. But I'm here because you look beautiful, and I wanted you to feel beautiful in my presence. That's it. That's why I'm here. And it's the same way that you treat your clients. If you genuinely are authentic and you go, I want to help your business grow, and I want to be there for you. I work for you, and I care about your growth, and we're going to help each other, right? You're putting food on my table, but I care about your business. You're not a paycheck for me. Mm-hmm. It's carrying that authenticity throughout your relationships, and you practice what you preach without even thinking about it. you are realness itself, and then you create the most profound connections with people everywhere, because what you see is what you get. People love you or hate you on the spot, and people tend to love people who are real.
Yeah, amazing, brother. Amazing, man. And so going off from that, man, from the love, right? How would you describe what true love is, man?
True love. Wow.
Whoa.
That's
Whoa.
profound. I think that there is no true love without self-love first. And I'm not talking about egoic self-love. I don't mean like I love myself, I'm so cool, look at these biceps. Like, I don't care about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, authenticity and self-acceptance, and it's accepting who I am and what I want, right? If I want to meet a beautiful woman, I will go and speak to a beautiful woman and let the world judge me, and that's okay. And if I want to not get a desk job like everyone else and do what I do and do what you do, right? And just help and inspire people. Well, that's my truth. And I mean, love is appreciation. It's about looking out and seeing that the sun is still there and the sky is still blue and the clouds are there, and going, fuck, like, what a treat to be alive. And if you feel that, right, and you just spread that, then that's it. There's no attachment, there's no clinging, right? It's not a contract. That's what most people don't understand. They're like, yeah, I love you, but if you can just do this, or if you can just change this, or whatever, that's a contract. That's a business transaction. That is not love.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I love you if you do this, right? It's all conditional, right? Do this, then I will love you. Man, I love that, man. It's love is not love without self-love. I'm gonna steal that line, man.
It's all yours.
Awesome.
You can't trademark truth. I mean, it's all yours. Just for those who are listening, it's very simple. It's like, don't listen to what I'm saying and go, oh, here's another mental concept. Try it out. See how you feel. Live that way, and then it's yours. And then walk around like that and see how easy life becomes. I can't trademark truth. It's not a method. It's the isness. It's just the way of being.
Oh man, and I think we want to wrap it up there, man, because I want to leave on that one. Just don't just listen to what we say here, guys. Just go live it, right? Just try it on. It's like putting on a shirt, right? Try it on, see if you like it, then you can keep it, right? Yeah. So Patrick, man, I want to say thank you so much, brother, man. It's been so much fun here chatting with you, man. And dude, for people who want to learn more about where your projects are happening, man, what you're doing, where's the best place to go?
Yeah, well, definitely add me on Facebook, Patrick Ananda. Very easy to find, and I post regular stuff. I post tips, I put my videos, my articles. Centeredmanproject.com, in one word, centeredmanproject.com. That's my blog. I post every week. My YouTube channel, same thing, Centered Man Project. Sorry, I'm trying to post daily videos, but now we're looking at 3 or 4 per week. So yeah, I'm easy to find, and please, if you have questions or stuff that you resonated with, or you just want to send me your funniest joke or a dick pic or whatever, just, I'm always open. I answer every email. I'm always at your service. Richard, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. And if there's anything else you wanted to leave us with, man, of course, from what we talked about, is there anything else you want to leave us with, Patrick, man?
Yeah, go out and give love. It's so simple. I mean, if you're lonely and you're wondering things aren't working out, like, just go and give love. Go and appreciate people. Don't make it about you. Make it about them, and then just watch how different your life is.
Amazing, bro. So it's an absolute honor to have you here, man. It's just being centered here with you is a pleasure, man. Right. So guys, this wraps up another episode of the Forge Your Life podcast here with Patrick Ananda. Right. If this resonated with you, if you felt like there was huge messages and huge learnings in here, make sure you share this. Make sure you head on to iTunes to rate the show, and make sure we get Patrick's message out there. I don't want to keep this the world's best kept secret. I know Patrick doesn't want to be the world's best kept secret anymore. Let's get it out there. Let's get his message and everyone else's on the show. And of course, guys, remember to go out there, go live with love, and go smash it. I'll see you on the next one.
Beautiful.